Yeah.
But we have to mention real quick the promos before the match
Oh,
that were just. I mean, Cobbin himself, he's a hilarious guy on his own when he does promos. This one was a lot more serious for him. He was kind of like, yeah, I'm
hmm
going to get you. I'm going to kick your ass, blah, blah, blah. It was a great promo for Jeff Cobb. Then they go to Zack Sabre Jr. and it's Shane Haste in Zack Sabre
ah.
Jr.'s jacket.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to NJPW Puroresu Review. I am your co-host Andre C. Right over here with the taco princess herself, Melball. How you doing?
I am the taco princess, my friend. I had tacos for dinner last night. It was amazing. They were so good. I'm doing pretty okay. It's been a weekend. It's been a good weekend. It's been a bad weekend. We're kind of level right now. I think it'll be better with the upper day that I'm going to do after I get off of here. How are you doing, my
I'm
friend?
doing I'm doing pretty good. I just came off of
Good.
6 straight days of work and up and down throughout it all, but I'm I'm doing good. We watched some great professional wrestling. We get to talk to you about it. An incredible wrestling Dontaku show. Amazing, amazing stuff.
There were some surprises in this one, man.
Yeah,
Some
there.
surprises. I was very entertained by some matches that I was very shocked about.
hmm But before we get into that, I want to thank all of you for checking this video. Please like the video, subscribe down below, and please comment. We want to hear from you. We love hearing from all of you.
Mhm.
We always really appreciate all the great comments we get from you guys. Thank you so very, very much.
100%. We love talking wrestling here and Andre Melball's Wrestling Talk. Clearly.
Since we do, we are going to get into it. We are talking Wrestling Dontaku 2023, the 30-year anniversary of Wrestling Dontaku, the Dontaku event itself, and the 9-year anniversary of the Bullet Club is on this show because Dontaku, 9 years ago, is where the Bullet Club came into being, ladies and
Mhm,
gentlemen. This is,
mhm,
again, kind of an historic show. So there were 3 pre-show matches. Ryohei Oiwa versus Oleg Bolton went to a time limit draw.
mhm,
Uh, then Ryohei Oiwa faced off against Yuru Nakashima in a time limit draw. I guess he had he had a 3 match challenge. And then
mhm.
Oiwa was defeated by Oscar Loibe in 2 minutes and 33 seconds. This was all in the pre-show. We can't watch it. I just grabbed these results off of Cage Match itself.
Would have been an interesting set of matches to see, though. I really enjoy watching the Wiwa and how he's kind of progressed there.
Mm-hmm.
But also Nakashima. I mean, Nakashima has just kind of come out as a beast, and we've discussed how amazing Loibe has kind of grown
Mm-hmm.
in this young lion kind of thing. It would have been really nice to see those matches for sure.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. But we are
Mhm,
going to get into the main card. It starts off with an 8-man
mhm,
tag match. It's Chaos's Hirooki Goto, Toriano, Yo, and Yoshi-Hashi taking on House of Torture, Stick Togo, Evil, Sho, and Yujiro Takahashi. I'll say this: everybody's coming up for the entrances, I really like the stage setup. We haven't
mhm,
seen like an actual proper stage setup outside of really Wrestle Kingdom. So I
mhm,
really
mhm,
like the setup for the stage. It had the lights on both sides, kind of WWE AEW ish. It looked really
mhm,
nice. I like seeing the difference in the stage rather than just the
mhm.
standard entrance that we usually get for most shows. I like that they went above and beyond for this one.
I have to agree, and it definitely set up for a lot more fun entrances as the night kind of went on here. But yeah, I definitely agree with this. I did like the setup of this show. I feel like this was one of their bigger shows, obviously. So the spectacle was kind of I feel deserving of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a Wrestle Kingdom kind of size spectacle, but I think it was close
It's a
enough,
third.
like
It's
almost
a
like a
30
Rumble
year.
kind of
Well, 30 years
thing.
of one event. That's a
Yeah,
big deal. So you
hundred
want to
percent,
celebrate it.
hundred
You want to make
percent.
it look nice. So we get into this match. Chaos attacks early
Mhm,
before the bell, and they fight out into the crowd. Then they get back in the ring. There's a quadruple team attack by House of Torture on Yoshi-Hashi, but Goto ends up breaking up a pin. Yano removes a quarter pad, and then Show and Evil beat him with it. Yo gets the pad and takes them out, and then hits a beautiful plancha onto Show on the floor. Really good. I really like that. Yoshi-Hashi ends up stopping an eye poke by Togo. Him and Goto hit the war drums. They hit Final Flash, and they hit Shoto, and they get the win. The match really went 3 minutes and 37 seconds. I was very okay with this. This match I think is more about what happened after rather than the match itself.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, 100%. For this one, one of the only notes that I had for this one was this match was mercifully short. Yeah, I have to agree. The what happened after the match to me was actually more interesting than what happened during the match, which I think made this match the perfect opener for this show.
Yeah, so House of Torture attack Bishamon after the match and start beating them up until Aussie Open.
Also had the titles. We also have to remember.
They
had stolen the titles, the IWGP World Tag Team titles from Aussie Open.
I think it was the final night of the Dontaku Road 2 shows. We didn't cover that one. We just covered the ones with the big title matches on them. But yeah, on one of the Road 2 Dontaku shows, like the last one, they had stolen the titles from Aussie Open. So Aussie Open run out, and they run off House of Torture, saving Bishamon, and they get their titles back. Aussie Open then proceeds to say they respect Bishamon and say they deserve a rematch. I get that. They're a good team. Every team should get a rematch for the titles. I agree with that. They were champions for long enough. You get the loss. And then they turn to House of Torture and say they don't respect House of Torture and they don't deserve a shot, but they know that what House of Torture will do. They know they're going to screw with them. They know they're going to fuck shit up. So Aussie Open proposes a 3-way tag match. And it's going to happen at Dominion. It has been officially announced. We'll get to that at the end of the show. I'll run down stuff that's coming over the next little bit. But yeah, I was kind of hoping it would get turned into a 4-way with TMDK, but I guess not. I was really kind of hoping for TMDK in there, but I guess not.
I kind of feel like they're probably going to not necessarily move on to something else, but I feel like they're going to start mucking about with something else there personally. I would like to see them kind of start doing some tag stuff with other people. Just not because I don't want to see them in the tag title picture, but like they did kind of come in and start getting those title shots, which, we both kind of have our opinions. Certain people do deserve that. Certain people don't. They definitely deserved it, 100%. But I would like to see what it is that they can do when they're not in the title picture.
And
that being said, I don't really want to see Bishamon in the title picture after this for a while. I did kind of feel very underwhelmed with their last title run. Not to say that it was bad or anything. They're both very accomplished wrestlers. Yoshi-Hashi has certainly stepped up his stuff. But that being said, I did find the title run a little underwhelming. And I would like to see Aussie Open because they are traveling a heck of a lot more than Bishamon and House of Torture. I would like to see them kind of travel and fly that flagship essentially for NJPW, get people talking about it so that it can bring attention to people like Bishamon and House of Torture, so that when they do drop those titles to one of those teams, that it can be something that the world is interested in instead of just Japan.
I'm praying it's not at Dominion because because we know we're going to get FTR versus whoever the IWGP Tag Team Champions are at Forbidden Door. We're going to get a tag team versus tag team match, take a chance versus champ match. I don't want to see it be House of Torture because that match would be excruciating bad. And we've already seen FTR versus Bishamon. It was a great match at Wrestle Kingdom. I very much enjoyed it. A lot more than I thought I would. But my biggest issue is I don't want to see it again. So I really, really, really want to see Aussie Open retain those titles at Dominion because I want another Aussie Open FTR match, especially Aussie Open versus FTR last year at Royal Quest 2 was awesome. They've only improved. FTR is who have evolved in their own right. I think the match that they couldn't have at Forbidden Door would be even better. So, yeah,
100%. I have to agree with you. I would definitely rather see Aussie Open take on FTR just because, again, as you said, we already saw Bishamon versus them, and it hasn't been long enough for me before we can see another kind of showdown for them. As you'd mentioned, Aussie Open and FTR had a match last year. I feel that enough time has passed that we can see another match and that they can do something very exciting with that. I don't feel that enough time has passed for Bishamon and them to have another thing. And just House of Torture is House of Torture. No one wants to see them in any capacity. And let's be honest, Yujiro would get his shit wrecked if he stepped in the ring with FTR. He just Evil would be doing all of the work, and Yujiro would just be going around trying to bite everybody because he wouldn't know what else to do.
Now, if it was like Evil and Show in that match, I would actually be kind of interested because I think because Show is actually out of the four of them, I think Show is the most interesting out of the House of Torture. So again,
he just needs to tone down the eyes.
Yeah, like I said, I'm picking him to go to the finals in his block. Again, I'm not picking him to win.
The hell out of me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's time to evolve him into something.
Yeah, into something a little different.
Yeah. So we move on. So Aussie Open already ring. Great-O-Khan joined them in the ring because I guess he came out when they came out. And TMDK with the team of Kosei Fujita, the Ichiban Sweet Boy, Shane Haste, Mikey Nicholls, they all make their way out. They get introed. Then Aussie Open, who are already in the ring, get introed after them, which was funny. And we get into actually a really fun six-man tag. I had a great time. I think Fujita, he's building what can only be the most lopsided rivalry with Great-O-Khan I could ever see.
Yeah.
Because again, we've never seen a young lion in this position though. I've never. There might have been something back in the 2000s, I don't know, but I've never seen a young lion been put in this position that he's already part of a team. He's part of a faction. He's recognized in a more high profile way than any other young lion going. Could you see, like, is there a possibility that NJPW forgoes his tour, his young lion excursion, and maybe just
this could be his excursion?
Yeah, like, could it be that maybe this is just how they bring him up and make him a full-fledged member of the roster? Because arguably, other than multi-man tags, he has yet to set. I haven't seen him set foot in a one-on-one or a tag match with the Young Lions in so long. He only faces them when he's facing them with TMDK. So. I wonder, is this because again they seem to be building something with him? Like I don't see him, like, he's not going to beat Okan. When they eventually, I guarantee you these two are going to have a singles match at some point. That Khan's going to beat the living holy hell out of Fujita. Fujita's going to get some good offense, I think, but Khan's going to destroy this kid. But they don't do this with Young Lions until they're into their match series or they're coming back. So
I think the only last one that I remember being, I would maybe say, coddled in this kind of way was Hikuleo with Bullet Club. But before then, I mean, we would see stuff like, Hiroshi Tanahashi really taking Tsuji under his wing and training
Kitamura.
But like that's not the same thing. Right. Yeah. And Yu Uemura, even Shota and Ren Narita were taken in by Hontai and Chaos in the same fashion. And yeah, you're absolutely right. It was never on the same level that Fujita was. And arguably Hikuleo wasn't even as coddled, I think, as much as Fujita is. But the difference in how Hikuleo turned out versus how Fujita is turning out, I mean, it took Hikuleo a hot minute to kind of get his feet underneath him, pun intended. But with Fujita, he was already established. Like I almost feel like he's just one of those natural talent wrestlers that this was what he was born to do, and that's why he is just endlessly learning and endlessly improving. Every time we see him, he's better and better and better and better and better. You know, if I didn't know that he was a young lion and I just started watching this, I would have no idea that he was a trainee or considered a trainee just by the level of that he's wrestling. It's so incredible.
And the fact is, just what he's been positioned in this last while, I would think as an outsider who doesn't know, maybe he's just a guy who just has bad luck. Maybe they just look at him like they're thinking he's just a fall guy. I wouldn't look at it as a young lion if I didn't actually know.
Exactly. That being said, though, he did get worked pretty good at the beginning of this match. Everyone was kind of taking their shots in on him. I think every single member of United Empire got in and pulled some wicked ish off on him. Poor little guy. But he did his best. And let me tell you, he didn't go down. He was able to tag out. So, like, you know, very, very smart wrestler. Obviously working very, very well with this whole TMDK faction. The exchange between the tag teams, between Aussie Open and Shane Haste and Mikey Nicholls there was just, it was like the 2.0 from their match that we had reviewed before with their tag team match. It was just the same high impact, same high energy, bodies just everywhere. It was chaos, and I loved it. It was a good kind of chaos, not the war drum kind of chaos. What really made me kind of happy with Fujita, specifically at the end of this match, was the final exchange that they had between him and Okan, where Fujita blocked the Mongolian chop that Okan was trying to hit at him, and actually starts hitting Okan with those German suplexes. I was just like, holy hot diggity dang, where did that come from? But and then he also got the O'Connor roll on Okan right after that, and I was just like, wow, this is amazing. Is he actually going to take this win?
Well, okay, hold on.
Nay.
For Fujita, it's a European clutch. Remember that.
Oh, right, sorry, European clutch. Right. I heard O'Connor roll on commentary. Yeah, that's why I wrote it down.
He did say that, because outside of Sabre, it's called the O'Connor roll, but I consider that the Euro clutch because he learned it from Sabre.
From Sabre, so that would make sense. Okay, Euro clutch. He got the Euro clutch on Okan, but holy heckin' crap, did Fujita pay for that little, I will say, positive, upmanship for himself. Okan came up fucking pissed after that point. It was like everything about him changed at that point. It was like a switch had gone off in the Great Okan's head. He went from the Great Okan to the Great Okan, and he was not having it. He hit that German on Fujita so high, he came down in a headstand. It was right on top.
That was a rear naked, like the Jay White rear naked choke suplex.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a German.
Like that half choke, half Nelson thing.
And he tossed him with it, and he landed almost on his head. It was like
he landed straight on the top of his head. It was absolutely vicious. Fujita barely able to kick out from that one too. If you want to take us into the finish from here,
and then after that, Khan pulls him up, locks in that sheep killer, and you can see him like just
shaking him.
And the ref calls for the bell. I gotta say, Fujita was the star of this match. In the fact that he took an incredible beating, but he also had an incredible upside in this match.
100%. This was a great match.
Yeah. Absolutely tremendous. Move on. Another 6-man tag. Got the Intergalactic Jet Setters, Kevin Knight and Kushida, teaming up with Shota Umino, the man with the longest goddamn entrance that I cannot goddamn stand. Oh, and House of Torture did a Shota Umino entrance tonight, too. Or no, that wasn't them. That was, never mind, that was Strong Style. Never mind.
That was just 5 guys.
Oh, it was just 5 guys. That was who it was.
Yeah.
I knew somebody did it that I was just annoyed by. But then they're taking on the United Empires, Aaron Henare, Francesco Akira, and TJP, who's still rocking the bandage on above his eye. Not as big, it's just a small bandage now. So it's healing up.
Much smaller.
I didn't take a lot of notes on this one. My biggest note in this was Akira's attitude. It's that he's so this
Fire.
little angry firecracker now that I absolutely love the switch that he's turned, because he's always had a great like fiery attitude, but now he's pissed off because he lost his belt. He's pissed and he's just taking it out on people. It's just I wrote down assholeness of it all. Like he's just got such an asshole factor to him now that I absolutely yeah I absolutely think he's been absolutely phenomenal in the way he's turned it up since losing the titles. And now that I think about it now, and I know I made my picks, but like I could see Akira making a run to the finals. Like it's possible. Like those are my predictions. But like what I want truly down deep inside of me is Akira to win this, win the title, and glory comes to the Empire.
Yeah. Glory be to the Empire.
That's what I want. Glory to the Empire is what I want. But like I again, there's also the desire in me. I want to see Master Wato make that leap and get the title. That's what again, there's that thing down deep in me that I want to see. But
I mean, we discussed this when we did do our predictions. I voted with my heart and not my head. That's why I've picked Akira to take that whole thing. Mi amore. Take it all.
It's very possible. But again, I picked with my heart too, and with Wato, because I don't know if Wato's going to get it. I think it's his time. If they're going to pull the trigger, they have to do it now. Otherwise, this guy may never make that level.
And coming off of his performance and winning that big juniors tournament that they had there, you know, it would make sense for them to kind of capitalize on that with him, because otherwise, him winning that was kind of pointless.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of upside. So getting back to this match,
yeah, I was going to say focus.
really fun time, man. Like like Kevin Knight is just an incredible athlete. The things he does, he's just. But the finish was really out of nowhere for me. Yeah. Kushida just pulling a Kimura and then rolling TJP into a pin and getting a pin out of nowhere was just like.
He did have that hammer lock on him, so he couldn't really use his arms to kind of kick out of there efficiently. But yeah, I agree.
It came out of nowhere because they were doing some stuff on the outside. Then they come in, and he just pulls the hammer lock, rolls him into the pin with the hammer lock, and it's over. And I was like, oh, okay. It just kind of came. Those two just came out of nowhere with the finish.
I have to agree. And personally, like I did not think that was going to be the case. I actually thought that the champions, non-champions, and non-champion competitors, I guess, in Shota and Hanare would be the deciding factor in that. Unfortunately, that I was very wrong about that, and I'm very annoyed about that. But yeah, it's interesting to see for sure. I really felt that Shota, especially, I guess I should have known this from the beginning of the match. I felt Shota was getting really picked apart in this match at the beginning, specifically, again, by all the members of the United Empire. And I thought that he was kind of showing some frustration throughout it. So I was like, oh, maybe Shota is going to be the one to kind of take the pin in this. But considering what happened later in the night, it kind of showed me why it didn't go the way it did. But yeah, I do really feel the same as you. It really kind of came out of nowhere, and I didn't necessarily like it. I do feel, though, that it is going to contribute to that continued frustration and anger in Akira, particularly, which I hope will probably motivate him going forward. And I do hope to see a lot more of this. What is he called? Is it the Fire Nova?
Fireball?
Is it the Fireball Supernova? I don't know. I whatever fire he has, I hope it still stays lit and it gets fanned by this loss. But yeah.
It's. I just want to see him improve. I really do. I think he's
arguably already a high level of performance and entertainment, but just skill that Akira has. I mean, he's Ospreay 2.0. He really is.
Very much so. Very much so. Yeah, I'm just trying to find it. What the name was? I can't find it anywhere. Gosh darned it.
Name of which? Of what his nickname?
The Fireball, whatever they were calling him. I can't find it anywhere. The nickname. I hate this.
I feel like Nova was in it, but like it could just be wishful
The
thinking.
Nova Fireball.
Nova fight. See, I was right. Oh, where's
Yeah.
your face? You're frozen. There you are.
There I am. Ha 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 ha. I'm crazy. My internet's being
Fireball
weird
Nova?
today.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, Nova
Nova
Fireball is what it
Fireball?
says on the
There's my
Puroresu system
dyslexia.
fandom. But yeah, but yeah. Again, I thought just really fun 6-man tag. That's all I want to see. So, and again, this is one where I actually had a really good time watching this. This was a fun, and the ending was absolutely perfect for me too. On top of it, so we got LIJ's Bushi, Shingo Takagi, and Tetsuya Naito taking on just 5 guys: Doki, Taichi, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru with Taka Michinoku. Now this is where they did the Shota Umino entrance. They all came out through the audience, and from 2 different locations too. Because you had Taka and Taichi coming out from one area, and you had Doki and Kanemaru coming from another. So yeah, I kind of like. I will say this: big props to Bushi. That red visor thing he had on his mask.
Yeah. Did
I
you
quite
hear
like
what
that.
they said about that on commentary later in the match? It was
No.
a homage to a snack that is specific to that area of Japan.
Okay.
And yeah, that's a special there. I did like how like throughout the match it was like up, and every once in a while he'd get like rattled so hard that it would flop down. He'd
It
have to
was
keep
good.
pushing it up again.
Yeah,
That was
but
fun.
I have to give big props to Takagi and Taichi still continuing this like war between them, and they're just it's such a great intensity from the 2 of them. I think it's absolutely tremendous. I didn't take a lot of notes on this one either. One of the only match notes I took was actually top rope dropkick by Bushi to Taichi into the Busharoonie.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That one was fun, yeah. Also to note, Doki and Naito also kind of continuing their animosity in this match. And man, like that was not a match that I knew like that I felt that I needed to have. But now that it's happened and I'm seeing the continued fallout from it, I'm like, I think we might need it again at some point. These guys put on a tremendous show and they had a fantastic start to this match.
And
Um,
I think for a guy like Doki, I think he could really benefit from maybe after the Super Juniors moving up to heavyweight, like becoming a
100%.
because he's so good. Again, I was remember I have made a
You were
left
not
turn
a
on this.
fan.
No, but I really sat down and really started watching him more and getting in more intense. And I'm like, again, just 5 guys. I think just 5 guys was the biggest reason I think the turn and just what he's become in this last little bit. I think it's the biggest thing for him.
As much as I like to shit on how their seamstress thing has not improved with the formation of this faction, foundationally and functionally speaking, from an entertainment standpoint, from a wrestling standpoint, this faction is solid as hell. This faction is as solid as LIJ, it's as solid as Suzuki-gun was, it's as solid as Chaos used to be. It's not as solid as United Empire.
That's
I
right. It's
wouldn't say
not.
it's as solid as United Empire, but they're close because they
Mhm.
have that camaraderie where they support each other at ringside. Um, the Naito and Kanemaru exchange also, where Naito was able to pull off his combinacion, Calpron, was just amazing. I really do love that series of moves there for how simple as it is. It's just Naito pulls it off so well. The Shingo. Okay, there was an interesting thing that you mentioned. Shingo and Taichi continuing their rivalry. Very interesting to see Shingo run through a basement drop kick from Taichi on his knee, still hit the rope and still try to hit that pumping bomber, which he obviously could not hit because Taichi's still paying attention. The drop kick, or sorry, it wasn't Taichi, Kanemaru. It was Kanemaru. Sorry that I messed that up. He ran through the drop kick from Kanemaru, and then Kanemaru hits that satellite DDT on Shingo.
Oh, that's the other. Okay, yeah, I do have the satellite DDT written down.
Yeah, just something about him doing that. He just does it so effortlessly and just so quickly and out of nowhere. I absolutely love it. But Shingo took it so beautifully also. What I was wanting to say about Taichi and Shingo was their chops. Chops and the strike exchange in this was just again continuation of the KOPW showdown there. I absolutely loved seeing it because Taichi is just he's kind of almost played like in Suzuki-gun that he wasn't the strong person that he is, when in actuality he's a very, very strong and capable heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
And to defeat Shingo Takagi, a former IWGP champion, that's pretty impressive.
That's no small feat, man. It really isn't.
No, not at all. Take us into the finish, because you liked that finish. You didn't get
Oh,
into it.
didn't I? Oh, sorry. Taichi gets it. So Taichi puts a Dragon Sleeper on Ibushi, and then
Mm-hmm.
Kanemaru gets the figure four on Takagi, and then
Mm-hmm.
Doki gets the Doki Choki on the Doki Choki,
Jokey.
the Doki Choki
The
onto
Jokey.
onto Naito, and then Bushi ends up. I don't know if he passed out or tapped out. I think he
He
tapped.
tapped out. He tapped out.
And yeah, and just five
Well, he
guys gets the
nodded.
win. Yeah, and just five guys gets the submission victory here. Again, I really liked it.
It's a picture perfect ending to have all three people pulling off submissions. Like it shows indescribable dominance of that faction.
And you know what I'm looking forward to over the next 3 weeks of the Super Juniors is the fact that we're going to have a break from this feud. Not that I don't want to see more of it, but it'll be nice not to see anything until comes time for Dominion. It'll be it will be kind of nice not to see anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
and
we'll get into the LIJ going forward with just 4 or 5 guys, because I have a little bit of a thing at the end of this to talk about. So you might have saw, but I don't know if you saw it. But yeah,
we'll see. We'll see when we get there.
Yeah, so we're going to move on to the first of 5 title matches of the evening.
Mm-hmm.
We have the New Japan Strong open weight title match. It's Kenta versus Hikuleo. Hick getting that boot right off the hop was just like, and Kenta playing dead, then gets the roll up really good. And then Kenta, I think Kenta's biggest thing was he really attacked the knee of Hikuleo. Mm-hmm. Take up the base of the power. It's what you got to do.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I thought absolutely tremendous. Kenta having little tricks to get out of the bear hug, get out of like the holds that Hikuleo has. He has all those little weird little tricks to get out, and he really did well. But let Snake Eyes into the corner, and then that off rope and hit the lariat by Hikuleo. I was like, shades of JBL right there, in my opinion. Like, it was a very JBL-ish kind of thing. Because JBL used to like drop a Snake Eyes and smash a guy out of the corner. I was like, I like that. I like seeing that. I was like, I really did enjoy that, man. But again, I really thought a really good match here. The ref gets knocked out at one point. Kenta gets a low blow onto Hikuleo, and then starts cracking him with a kendo stick. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. And he was not holding back. And then Hikuleo stands up and he cracks him in the side, but he catches the kendo stick, and you see it snap over the side of his body. Like, it literally splintered there. And it was like the perfect visual of it splintering there as he caught it. I was like, that is perfection. Then he picks him up, hits a tree slam, but the ref's still out. Kenta ends up getting a triangle, like reversing a choke slam into a triangle. And he turns it into game over, but Hikuleo makes the ropes because they had gotten Marty Asami to come down and take over the match. Bunch of running knees to the back of the head by Kenta, but Hikuleo ends up catching him, and the ref gets like pushed, and like Kenta hits him in the crotch again, and hits a Busaiku knee, but the ref took too long, and he only got 2, which was perfection. And then he goes for it again, that Busaiku knee again. But Hikuleo catches him and then just grabs him, picks him up, smashes him down the mat, and did the one thing I was not expecting on this show. And Hikuleo won the Strong Openweight title.
I was just as surprised as you were, because like, Kenta just started this title run, you know. And he's been waiting a long time. Like, he's been very loyal to NJPW since returning, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of feel like they've kind of like given him the short end of the kendo stick, since, like, you know, struggling with that US title, struggling to get a title, trying to get a title shot, trying to win the tournaments. He's just kind of, I don't want to say they've made a joke of him, but they've certainly made it humorous in the ways that he's been not winning.
No,
This
they
was
made
a
a joke.
very serious loss.
They made a joke of him. I will agree. I
Yeah,
will
they
say that. Yeah.
have, and it's pissed me off because it's like he's such a good wrestler, and he's done everything he can in the last 5 years to really show this is what he's wanting to do. He's here again. He's not going anywhere, and that should be shown, especially by how much of a joke that they have made of him. That being said, though, I mean, does this leave him open for maybe going after Kenny Omega for that US title eventually? I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Yeah, we'll see what comes out of that because we have Ospreay versus Tanahashi at Resurgence,
Hmm.
and whoever wins
Yeah, the
that's
only thing
facing
I
off
want
against
to.
Lance Archer, and then whoever wins that's facing Kenny. I'm pretty sure at Forbidden Door. That's what Lance Archer
We'll
was
see
yelling
how it
about.
goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I really wanted to kind of finally say with this was that the improvement from Hikuleo, though, huge, huge, huge. His power slams are just picture perfect. His choke slams are looking really, really good. If you're a wrestler yourself wanting to train to do choke slams, I mean, you should probably watch this one. This one was actually very, very good.
Hmm.
Safe, most importantly, safe.
Yeah,
For so much of the word.
but again, I got to give big congrats to Hikuleo. Finally,
Mhm.
he's on top of the New Japan Strong Division again for at least what it is. It's a touring. It's a once every couple months show now, but we'll
Mhm.
see how they could they be putting the title on him because they're ready to start rebuilding and bringing the show back in whichever way they're looking to do. Because again, we're
Mhm.
gonna get we'll talk about it later. We're gonna get a women's title for Strong.
Mhm.
There's so much more coming. So maybe
Mhm.
they want to build this new Strong around a young face. And again, I
It
don't
makes
blame them
sense.
for that. I
Mhm.
don't blame them if
Oh,
I
it would
make.
make total sense.
So we will very much see what happens next.
Mhm.
But we move on to what I gotta say, my favorite match of the night. These two had this ended. I'm just gonna go over to it right now. This was 15 minutes to a 15-minute draw,
Yes.
but it was 15 of the most tremendous minutes of wrestling I think I've watched almost all year, outside of maybe Ospreay and Kenny, and maybe a couple others. This
Mhm.
like Saber usually has the advantage to wrestle a guy down, work him with the wrestling.
Mhm.
He did not get that advantage here. Because
Mm-mm.
for one, he's facing an Olympic wrestler.
Mhm.
One, he's facing a guy who is massive, and he can't just wrestle him down.
No.
That was the story of this whole match: was Saber trying to wrestle Cobb down, Cobb not doing it, and when he would in Saber would get little things out of there, and he would target the knee. He would do these little things. He tried to do a Northern Lights, he couldn't do it. He tried to transition and flip Cobb, he couldn't do it. He couldn't
No.
do the little things he usually does to take advantage of people. So he had to
Mhm.
then start attacking the knee and doing all these little small stuff. Like it was just I love the back and forth and how these two work together, and
Mhm.
Cobb using the power and then Saber like transitioning out of the power moves, getting out of the spin cycle, getting out of the tour of the islands, getting out of all those things that Cobb is so known for. It's like he's
Mhm.
been studying the tape, he's been figuring out how to do things out, but then he can't do the things he needs to do because Cobb is just too big, too strong, too well versed in the wrestling to
Mhm.
let it happen. So it was just this beautiful back and forth.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
like
definitely a struggle.
yeah.
But we have to mention real quick the promos before the match
Oh,
that were just. I mean, Cobb in himself, he's a hilarious guy on his own when he does promos. This one was a lot more serious for him. He was kind of like, yeah, I'm
mm-hmm.
going to get you. I'm going to kick your ass, blah, blah, blah. It was a great promo for Jeff Cobb. Then they go to Zack Sabre Jr. and it's Shane Haste in Zack Sabre
Ah,
Jr.'s jacket, trying in his Australian accent to pull off an English accent. Sitting there just going, "Ah, ah, 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 ah."
and just
It
saying
was
all the most.
hilarious.
It was just all the most ridiculous stuff, and just it was
It
so
added to it. It added to
yeah.
the dynamic of the match beforehand. It set you up for, like, it had you laughing and then got you into this really amazing match. And of course, both teams supporting their people. TMDK all coming out with Zack Sabre Jr. And I believe it was everybody but Mark Davis, I believe, that came out with.
No, Mark Davis was there. The only person missing was Will Ospreay, who wasn't in Japan.
Really? I didn't see Davis in the intro.
He was out there during the. I did see him at ringside during the match. Maybe he didn't come out during the intro. He might have came out during, but he was out there. I saw him at ringside during the match. I did
okay.
on a
I
camera
didn't see him on the stage because they had that nice, as a stage, as you mentioned at the beginning, Cobb coming out in the middle and the rest of the United Empire kind of standing in a fan, or like a formation, if you will, behind him.
Cobb kind of taking Ospreay's spot there.
Just temporarily, because that's his match.
But I liked it. I really liked that with Ospreay out, Cobb has kind of fallen into becoming the de facto leader. If you watched a lot of the matches, he's kind of been out with other teams during their matches on the other ones on the undercard. He's been kind of playing leader almost, like he's kind of half directing these guys. But again, he's been kind of playing it for these guys a little bit. Like you can see them kind of positioning him in that. Like I think he's always, to me, since Cobb joined, has always kind of been positioned as the number 2. In my personal opinion, that's how I've always looked at him.
I definitely look at him as like a Fale kind of secondary.
That's how I've always kind of looked at Khan as like a Fale just enforcer. I've always looked at Khan as the Fale enforcer, but not as like the number 2 of the team.
Yeah, but Khan is the champion of the British.
He's not a champion of the Japan. He's not a champion of the Japanese, though.
The IWGP champion is the champion of the Japanese. That's Sonata. But arguably, Cobb in this match utilized his size and strength and speed and ability in general to just kind of outsmart, I think, Zack Sabre Jr. into that time limit draw. I really enjoyed this match.
Yeah, and like Sabre hitting like 4 or 5 uppercuts, and then Cobb just smacked him once. He went back, and then Cobb hit the beautiful drop kick that he always does.
Yes.
Like just it's those little things that made this match so pretty, so great, so well executed that I absolutely love it. And we'll talk about what's coming next for this too, because they weren't jaw-jacking in the ring, and they were talking about another match. Like saying, we'll do this again, we'll do this again. And that's what they were saying to each other. So we'll get to that at the end, though. So we'll get to that there. But yeah, I think it was personally my match tonight. Again, there's a lot of bias there because I'm such a Sabre fan. I'm such a Cobb fan. Again, really, a lot of bias in this.
From that T-shirt.
Yeah, right there. And then my Robbie Eagles Will Ospreay shirt, which is kind of funny because they're now on opposite teams of TMDK and United Empire. So that just makes me happy, and all points of it all. But yeah,
I found that weird because I definitely felt that Eagles would have been a good fit in United Empire. But personally, now seeing him and his attitude with TMDK, I think TMDK is a better choice for him. But let's move on to this match, because this match pissed me off.
This was the one that disappointed me more than anything. I was just again, I didn't grab the updated graphic for this because I was like, you know what, fuck them. Especially after watching this match, I'm like, I'm not getting the updated graphic. Yeah, the story, they were telling a great story with this, with Narita, Narita stepping up to Okada, being like, I'm going to your everything. And then the Ishii Desperado storyline that they were telling throughout it all, that these two, after the Grapple Collision match, all they wanted to do is beat the shit out of each other, which they did in this match. Like, it was all so much of it. And then the culmination of the match was just like a big fat fart to me of the story that they were telling with Okada and Narita. I get what they're doing, but they're doing Sonata again with Narita.
Yes, 100%.
And it's Sonata could never get a win on Okada. And that's what they're telling with Narita here. Is Narita can't beat Okada when it comes to the big match. And I'm like, you had the point to have Narita pin Okada in this match and solidify this guy as one of your top guys going forward. If you would have given him the pin on Okada, you can keep him in the 6-man division, but then he always holds that over Okada. And then you can have Okada win the match coming back. That's fine. But now, like, I want to see Okada and Narita again. But to the average fan that isn't as invested as you and me, do they care about seeing Narita beat Okada, especially after Okada pins Narita? If Okada had pinned Despy or Minoru, that's different. That doesn't bother me.
No.
But he pinned Narita.
Arguably Suzuki, it would make more sense because he's the veteran and the senior in the entire match.
And he's the one out of all of this that can take the pin and not be hurt by it.
Anything.
Where Despy taking the pin, it affects the Despy Ishii storyline. Narita taking the pin from Okada affects their storyline greatly, and it just 100%. Makes, to me, it's Skiddo saying this guy isn't at Okada's level, and it's like that's not the story you should be telling.
No,
No,
I agree. The end of this match didn't make sense. The story in it was great.
Amazing.
It was one of those things where it's like everything was great until the end. And it was very, very disappointing to see the end of this.
But for me, when you have a sour ending on something that good, it makes me forget about the rest. Like,
yeah, I can understand that. Because like,
and then
it was mentioned several times on commentary too that it was suspicious that Minoru Suzuki was the quietest one in this match, which shouldn't have been the case at all. It's Minoru Suzuki. This is Angry Grandpa. I literally just had a thing on my Facebook feed come up of him doing the Gotch-style pile driver to someone who's probably at least 4 times his own weight and size. Like, this man is not the person you want to mess with or find in a back alley in the middle of the day, let alone in the middle of the night. And he was kind of like he took it to Tana in the first part of this match, 100%.
Oh, he did.
Was having a hard problem keeping up. But, like, there wasn't a whole lot of Suzuki throughout this match, and it disappointed me. The parts with Desperado and Ishii were freaking great because it was again a fight I didn't know that I wanted to see that I now perpetually want to see, especially when they were fighting for that dominance of that suplex, and Desperado was the one to actually muscle up Ishii and get Ishii over as opposed to Ishii getting Desperado over. And then after when we saw Tanahashi accidentally nail Ishii, I was like, oh, okay, we're getting to the end of the match and Strong Style is going to retain. And it kept going and kept going and kept going. And I was like, what's happening? This is when they started amping up the Narita Okada kind of thing where Narita got thrown into the barricade, but then he exploded out and took out Okada with that crazy lariat. Narita, huge technical guy. I mean, we've been saying since he came back, he's the Katsuyori Shibata 2.0 without being exactly
the carbon copy. Yeah,
like Shota is Tana. But yeah, my feelings on the end of this, it feels wrong. It feels so wrong to have the never open weight titles there now sitting on the shoulders of a team that didn't even want to be a team. Because as they were mentioning in the commentary, Ishii didn't want Tanahashi to be a part of this team. He wanted it to be a chaos team. And to be honest, I agree. I think it was a very stupid decision to put Tanahashi in this match. And I think it was a very stupid decision to give this mismatched team that is not unified, that hasn't really fought together in a title capacity, over a team that was solid, that has been working together, that has been building for months to look like a solid team. I feel this was a massive fuck up. They should not have switched those titles because I don't feel that I feel that they are going to devalue these titles.
They're going to make you forget about them again.
Exactly.
Which, as for much House of Torture, at least you remembered that they were champions. Like they're not my favorite team, but they were dicks about it. They were saying the title, like them just defending the titles for the longest time and then saying the titles are retired. The titles are retired. That made you interested in those titles because you're just like, no, they're not retired. I want to see somebody take these titles. So it made you interested. And then Strong Style has done nothing but be amazing and have great defenses of the titles, have had looking phenomenal in all the multi-men tags they've been in. And now we put them on to a 3-man team. They're like, this is very much in a Goto American booking decision.
Yes.
That now he wants to tell the story of the teammates that don't get along. That's what we're going to see.
Got that in Bullet Club.
Yeah, we don't need that here. We don't need that in Chaos. And then the other thing is what I was kind of noting with Okada. He's kind of trying to be a bad guy.
Yes.
Look at the start of the match.
He's 100% a heel.
But it's not coming off heel-ish. It's coming off, I'm an entitled, arrogant asshole-ish. That's how it feels to me. Because Okada...
What's another champion that kind of feels like that?
The one we're going to get...
Roman Reigns.
Yeah. But again, it's... I don't know. I think Triple H is doing a really good job with that one, though. Because
now it's not Vincey anymore. You got Triple H there. It's not Vincey.
And this feels Vincey.
Yeah.
So it's just Dude, I don't know. I just don't like it. Again, if for some reason we get the coolest thing coming out of this, I'll eat my words. 100%. I'll eat my words. What
do we get out of this?
But like, what comes next with whatever this happens with these 3 guys? If we get something great out of it, awesome. But I don't think we will.
Well, what did we get coming out of this was Shota Umino coming out and making the statement that he is here. He's wanting something to be done, and Jon Moxley will be coming back to Japan.
Dominion!
For that. That being said, who's going to be the third?
Yeah, that's my biggest question. But did you hear?
I can tell you right now, with the Shota and with the Moxley against this team, it's not something that I particularly want to see. I don't really care who the third is. I don't really feel that it's going to be a great match because Moxley is very chaotic, and despite 2 members of the team being chaos. I can see him having a great showdown with Ishii, but I don't know that his stuff with Okada or Tana is going to be very good or interesting. But that being said, what are we going to do? Just shove Moxley into the ring whenever the Pitbull's in there? Go get him.
I don't know. But there was one little spot that I found interesting is that he said, his exact words were, what are you doing with my young boy? So he's still calling Shota his young boy. And that's a sign of disrespect to somebody that's come back.
That is true. That is true.
Now, the question is, could we see this end up being Umino turning on Moxley? Because of the comment, because of this, like, are they planting that seed?
I don't know. I personally would love to see that. Could you imagine doing a match and then they're Moxley about to take the pin and suddenly Shota runs in, breaks it up, hits him with
his own move, the Death Rider?
That would be interesting. That would actually turn me. But I still wouldn't like seeing the mismatched team retaining those titles. But then again, I wouldn't like to see that on Moxley.
But for me, that would set up a perfect match for Forbidden Door. Umino, Moxley, NJPW versus AEW. Imagine that. I think it'd be
depending on who their third is. It could be very, very interesting.
Yeah, maybe it's the New Japan debut of Bryan Danielson. We don't know. I doubt it because if he's coming in, they're going to make it.
I would personally like to see Bryan get into it with
G1,
your favorite little guy there.
Oh, Saber,
Mr. Saber. Mr. Dickhead.
Forbidden Door. Forbidden Door, Forbidden Door,
Is
Forbidden
Dragons
Door.
versus Dragon? I
The
mean,
match we should have gotten last year, but we got Claudio versus Sabre. But I better get it this year.
and that in itself was just a problem. I had opinions on that. That being said, my friend, let's move on to the next match that shocked the ever-loving heck out of
Oh,
me.
I got a picture of them with their belts. So
Ugh.
this was much better than I expected it to be.
Mhm.
And holy shit. And I did call this, though. I did call it.
You did. You did.
We got Tonga defending his never open weight championship against David Finlay, each cornered by Jado and Goto. Finlay, man, this guy turned it up another notch in this match, in my personal opinion.
This is the best we've ever gotten of David Finlay ever.
Mm-hmm. He got vicious. He was intense. He was just going, man. He took him to the floor, ran him into the barricade, and then speared him through the barricade door. The brawl into the crowd. That was just in the first couple minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then just these two going back and forth in the ring. Finlay really working on Tama. Just really working him over. And then Tama coming back with these little flurries.
Mm-hmm.
Tama getting that slam and then goes up for Supreme Flow. And David Finlay gets the knees up. And I was just like, yeah. And then it's just his vision. When he was getting him, when he had him from behind, he was just smashing with the crossface forearms.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, it came off so vicious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was, and then Tama would have these little turns where he would turn, Finlay was going for a power slam, and Tama came off, hit a Tongan twist out of it. There was just these little, and he hit it, and on the 9-year anniversary, hits Bloody Sunday as a tribute to the first leader. Hits Bloody Sunday on the move of the first leader on the current leader of Bullet Club. But
I did like that touch.
Yeah, but again, Finlay, the apron bomb on the floor, and then tossing him headfirst, putting him on his shoulders, then running him headfirst and tossing him headfirst into the post,
pushing him off the top rope there into the barricade. He flew.
It was a lot of. He was just vicious with this, and I absolutely loved it. I think he did such a good job, and Tama played the babyface in peril so freaking well.
Mm-hmm.
The pairing between these two was absolutely tremendous. Jado going up to throw in the towel. I know we just saw that on the last show we talked about with the KOPW, but I think it was done well. Then he went up, and then he was just like, no, I can't do it, and got back down. And then every now and again, you saw him holding the towel, but it wasn't overstated like with Hiromu.
Yeah,
he got up and then went down, and then it would show him just off the side, just kind of holding the towel there, but it wasn't too overstated. So it made you really feel that Tama's really in trouble if Jado's if Jado is thinking about tossing in a towel.
And Jado is not the kind of person who would back down from a fight at all.
No.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you. I actually noticed something with Finlay, his temperament. He may not like his former predecessor, Mr. White, there, but gosh golly gal willikers, was he acting like Jay White throughout this entire match? I felt that his temperament, the way he was playing things, there were certain points where he almost possummed Tama and tricked him into getting close before firing off something really quick, exactly like Jay White would do. So, arguably, Finlay learned something from his predecessor, which was great. And I definitely felt that he was kind of playing how Jay White does that kind of cowardly thing where he kind of, no, don't hurt me. And then boom, I got you in a victory roll. That was exactly how Finlay was kind of playing it. And I loved it. I love the new attitude.
And then the finish. The finish was just a vicious, mean finish where he hit Oblivion, which is he hit the Trash Panda, goes for the pin, then pulls him up at 2. hits Trash Panda again. Grabs the pin, pulls Tama up a 2, then hits Trash Panda for the third and final time, the Oblivion Panda, whatever you want to call it. And he gets the win. Again, it was that vicious, when he did it the second time, I'm like he hit it, and when he pulled him up, I'm like, okay, he just wants to hit him again to put him down. It's when he pulled him up the second time after the second pin, when I was like, oh, is Tama gonna catch a roll up here and sneak a win out? But then he just hit it and it was over. I'm like, I'm satisfied. I was perfectly satisfied with David Finlay winning this title, especially after the performance he put in this match.
Yeah, the note that I have for the end of this match was endlessly relentless. He was just savage with this. And that's what you got to do when you're Bullet Club and when you're a leader. I mean, he's trying to take up the mantle of being the extreme heel in a company where we haven't really had a good extreme heel for a bit, with the exit of Jay White. I mean, House of Torture arguably are the extreme heels, but they're a little too extreme.
They're the other end of extreme.
On the spectrum.
Yeah, they're the other end of extreme. They're the bad kind of extreme.
They're the obnoxious part of the extreme here. But the end, very, very fun and interesting as a masked individual hits the ring and reveals himself to be none other than the defunct member. Is that would be the right word? El Phantasmo. Running in and attacking David Finlay, kind of making it known that he's kind of not happy with how things went down, so to speak. I see ELP challenging David Finlay for that never open weight championship. I loved how he derobed from a sleeveless shirt to another sleeveless shirt, and then derobed again after the derobing. New look for ELP too, still rocking the Shingo Daddy haircut, but the almost Lil Blay inspired pink dude there.
That's the one thing jacked. I hated it.
Jacked. We can't be mad about that.
No, his looked great except the hair. I hate his hair. I hate his hair. I hate it. I hate that mullet. I hate it. I hate it. Shingo Takagi it works on because it suits him.
Yeah.
But it does not suit ELP. He just looks like a fucking scumbag.
He does look like
if I saw that guy walking down the street,
Lil Blay to me.
Yeah, if he was walking down the street, I would just be like, ew, gross. Because the hair, it's the hair. Like if I didn't know who he was, I'd be like, ew, gross. If I saw him in real life, I'd be like, dude, you're ELP. But
yeah,
it's just like I hate the mullet.
This was that the attack separated Finlay from both his shillelagh and the title. And I believe that someone had to sneak into the ring and actually grab the title for him. And ELP ended up express delivering the shillelagh. Much to the cameraman's dismay. Did you see the poor cameraman nearly dove off the platform trying to avoid it?
Well, I just love that after Finlay rolled out after getting away from CR2, he's like, fuck it, and dives onto him on the floor.
Yep.
That was just like, you never see it.
No.
Nobody ever does a dive. After somebody escapes, you just like stand in the ring. The fact that ELP is like, screw you, I'm diving on you, motherfucker. I was like, that it just made the hatred feel so much more.
Yes. It added to the animosity, which is why I am very excited and hopefully hoping to see ELP challenge for that never open weight title.
We'll get to that. We will get to that. Trust me, we will get to that. We move on. Main event of the night. It is the IWGP World Heavyweight Title match. Sonata with his whole team of just 5 guys versus Hiromu with his whole team of LIJ. LIJ actually supporting their guy from the beginning for once. That never happens. Yeah. There's a reason Sonata left. He wasn't getting any support. But I thought great start in this match from Hiromu, really taking it to Sonata and then taking a lot from Sonata without going down. Like, absolutely tremendous, these two. Like, he low bridging Sonata out, and then he, like, sends him over the top, over the guardrail, and then drop kick goes over the guardrail and drop kicks him into the second guardrail, taking a back bump right onto the exposed cement floor. Ow. Like, freaking ow.
Hiromu, he's a little crazy. He's kind of like the Mayu Iwatani of NJPW.
Yeah, I just thought it was a real back and forth. Sonata went to
Mm-hmm.
work on Hiromu's neck.
Yes.
Hiromu just trying to pull pretty much everything off
Yes.
in this. Like, it was very much like, I'm just going to do everything I can. He got a time bomb at one point. He got
Mm-hmm.
time bomb too. He got the Death Valley driver. He got his version of the pumping bomber. Like, he got
Mm-hmm.
it. And then Sonata just looking like, even at the worst of points, Sonata. It's that, I know people got mad at John Cena for brushing a lot of stuff off and laughing things off, but I love Sonata even at the worst when Hiromu's like got the advantage. Sonata still got that chill look on his face, almost
Mm-hmm.
like I've got this. I that confident chill look, like I've got this look.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I love that. I thought it was actually worked for this. I thought it worked very well in this match.
Mm-hmm.
Um, People got a lot mad at John Cena for being that guy, but I think it worked for Sonata here in this match. Like,
I don't know if it's something that like I've necessarily gotten mad at, but I certainly have looked at it as it takes away from him a little bit. But this match, I felt because he was working with somebody who he knows so well and he has for so long in his former partner with Hiromu. I feel that both of these guys were able to kind of pull that emotion out of each other.
mm-hmm,
Hiromu, especially, I felt that the part of the story was that his emotions and his feelings on Sonata and the betrayal, as it were, to leave for just five guys was something that Hiromu really played on here, and I feel that it kind of added to his recklessness, which is already something that he's kind of known for. But having that over emotional kind of attachment in the match, as we are well aware of, will create some kind of different tension and will create those little mess ups where Hiromu wouldn't normally do something, and Sonata knows that. And I feel that he was able to capitalize on a lot of that over, what's the word, just over animation or over indulgence of those emotions. And Sonata was able to capitalize on that kind of almost ferocity of emotional attachment, we'll
yeah,
say there.
yeah. Again, it was just this, like, both these guys know each other for all those years. And again, the
Mhm.
Chris Chad and then Sonata said in the post match, they fought 11 years ago in Taiwan, before these
Oh.
two had been together put together in this team in 2016 or 2017, whenever it was.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like, again, it was very much that, and again, like, Hiromu knowing to put the knees up on the second moonsault because he knows that Sonata always goes for the second moonsault. Like, it
Hmm.
was just, they just both knew each other so well, and
Hmm.
I loved it. End of the match, though, Hiromu ends up reversing the deadfall into a pin, but Sonata kicks out and then takes Hiromu's head off with like the vicious lariat, like
Yeah.
vicious. Then he picks him up, hits deadfall, the spin out DDT, gets the win. But
Hmm.
absolutely tremendous match. It was like 27 and a half minutes, but it
Hmm.
was so well done.
Yeah. Great main event. Fantastic main event.
Yeah. So after the match is again, you get anything else on the match itself?
No, no, I didn't take a whole ton of notes on this one. I just enjoyed watching
Yeah. Again, I
it.
took notes, but there's just, and I love the one of the note is, I love that the way they did it. They did the saberism in this, that Roma would hit like three or four like uppercuts or forearms,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then Sonata would come back with one, dropping Hiroma.
Mhm.
They played
Mhm.
it. They, again, it's the same way Saber does, in that he'll hit three or four shots, and then the guy who usually are bigger than him will drop him with one. Again, I really liked
100%.
that they did hold to that in this, and that they really showed that Sonata has the obvious power advantage. Even though he's not a gigantic dude, he obviously has a power advantage over the junior heavyweight champion. I really did like that,
Mhm.
but I think these
Mhm.
guys did such an amazing job in this match.
100%.
So after the match,
100%.
Sonata gets on the mic, says, "Yeah, 11 years ago they wrestled, and he wants to do it again." He says they'll both have growth going forward, and he wants to wrestle him again says some other stuff, like, but just kind of hyping the crowd and getting them to chant for them and things like that. And says their goodbyes. They put Sonata on their shoulders, and then the lights go out. And the video plays for the Godzilla video that we've been seeing the kaiju video we've been seeing over the last little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then a figure appears on the stage, darkness, and he starts walking forward, and the name Yoda Tsuji appears on the Titantron, and Yoda Tsuji makes his return from his excursion.
Look at that smile.
He comes out to the ring looking fly as fuck, for sure. I love that jacket.
Confident as all hell, too.
Yeah. Comes in, takes out all of just 5 guys, hits the spear on Sonata, and then does this. Stands over him, holding up the belt. The picture I didn't get, that I noticed right after this picture, is him going like this.
Oh, that would actually make a whole lot of sense. Tsuji went over to Rev Pro for a little bit. He's been performing, however, most recently in CMLL, I believe under the tutorage of Okamura down there. But we know the connection that LIJ has down there, and we also know the connection that Just 5 Guys has down there, specifically with Doki.
Now, I don't know.
I personally would love to see that. I mean, we've lost an LIJ member in Sonata. We have gained Titan, which is great, but he is over in CMLL more often than he is in Japan. With Tsuji being someone who has worked in CMLL now, could go back and forth with Titan and really help establish the LIJ name there. But like to be battling with the IWGP champion too, holy hot dang! I mean, look at him; he's jacked out of that black.
Looking big, looking swole, looking ready to be.
The highlights are nice. The smile is nice. The beard is great. He's got the look, and he's got the talent.
I don't know
with these young boys. Holy damn!
Like, I don't know if this was just a kind of shot at Sonata doing this spot, was just kind of shot at Sonata. Or if it's foreshadowing him, maybe he will become an LIJ member.
Maybe that was him sending LIJ his resume.
Could be.
Look what I can do.
The only the issue I have is I think that with Naito, I think starting to decline, moving down the card. I really thought Takagi was going to take his place with Sonata out as their main event guy. Where if you add Tsuji, though, he's positioned already as be LIJ's main event guy.
I mean, just because you're a main event guy doesn't mean you need to be the leader and vice versa, right? I mean, it just kind of works out better, obviously. But like, you have all these people like Chaos. You had Okada being the IWGP champion and Hirooki Goto being the never openweight champion. Arguably, at that time, obviously Okada is going to be the more entertaining one, but Goto is just as good on a single stage that we have seen, specifically with his bouts most recently against Tanahashi, where Tanahashi busted open his lip. I don't know. I think that Tsuji would fit in well because his attitude, the look, and everything matches LIJ better than everything else. And the attitude, I think, would fit there also. Because if you put him in Hontai, I mean, my goodness, that would just be terrible. But like, also having him in Chaos would probably not be too good. Also, but Bullet Club is just not a fit, and I think Bullet Club is still too big for its britches right now. There's too many members flitzing around in there. You got to separate House of Torture, whittle that down. If we have the new age David Finlay ones, who's on what, who's where, figure that stuff out. But I think Tsuji would fit perfectly on LIJ.
Yeah. So absolutely wonderful event. I want to get into what's coming up over the next month and a half before we get out of here. So we got the Super Juniors block right here. A block, I'm going to make it a little bigger. You got Kushida Taguchi, Rush, Doki, Hiromu Takahashi, Teton, TJP, Taichi Shimori, Sho, and Mike Bailey. That is the A block, and those are all the dates that each man wrestles each other on.
Mm-hmm.
So we got 3 weeks of great Super Juniors action starting on May the 12th. We'll be trying to be coming back. I think we'll probably kind of bring it back to the point, give everything else out. So we're going to be doing 2 to 3 shows on a single one of these, and we don't want to be going crazy long. So
no. We say as we're at an hour and 15.
Yeah. And right here we got B block, El Desperado, Yo, Master Wato, Kevin Knight, Kanemaru, Bushi, Robbie Eagles, Francesco Kira, Dan Maloney, and Clark Connors. Again, more wonderfulness right here. Again, that's in those 12 shows. Again, I'm very much looking forward to those cards, and we will be having that coming up for you over the next few weeks. We'll be having coverage of that, but we have NJPW Resurgence Sunday, May 21st, and I'm working 8 to 5 that day. This show starts at 6. I might just have to leave my work, come to your place, and just sit down, plop down, and watch this on Fight TV with you.
We've got some Terramana tequila we can sip on while we're doing that. We're good.
Let's do it. Let's do it very much. But yeah, we're gonna be having NJPW Resurgence coming up. Gonna quickly go through the card very quickly. DKC versus Bateman.
What? I was not prepared for Bateman's picture. Jesus Christ.
He's a creepy mofo, man. I'll say that for sure. To get DKC versus Bateman, we have Alex Colgan taking on the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels. Oh yeah. Alex Colgan getting an incredible match here. I'm excited for this. We have in the semifinals, we have Mercedes Monet taking on Stephanie Vaquer in the semifinals of the Strong Openweight Championship tournament. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that match.
Spanish.
And then we got Momokogo versus Willow Nightingale, the power of positivity versus this girl who's just, I think, has become one of my favorite young ladies in all of Stardom. I can't wait. This match is going to be absolutely.
My age?
Who?
She's 38.
Kogo?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought she was like 20.
No.
Okay, I was wrong.
She is 38 and 104 pounds.
Interesting. I
did not know that. I'm jealous. I want to look like that.
And then we got Bad Dude Tito and Zack Sabre Jr. teaming up. And I'm not familiar with these gentlemen. Virus and Barbaro Cabanera. I'm pretty sure they're from CMLL.
Carbonario.
And they're from CMLL, I think?
Yes. Carbonario came over with the Fantastica Mania tour, I believe, in 2021 and 2020. Very, very cool character. Sometimes he has like a Fred Flintstone outfit and he wraps a few bones up in his hair. He's actually very, very accomplished lucha libre. He just the thing that I don't always like about lucha libre is how some of the older guys get really, really wider in every capacity the older they get, and he has been one of those guys. But that being said, it has not changed his ability to perform. He is still performing at a high capacity. Virus, I actually have seen a few times wrestle. He's not one of my favorites, but he wrestles with a really cool looking faction that kind of has the same kind of spikes and paint and everything. The only reason I don't like him is because of his gear. It's like a T-strap in the wrong place. It kind of
it's showing it shows off the boobies.
Yeah, like in the same way that Rhea Ripley's little butt straps show off her butt. Okay, but like not as appealing.
But yeah, this was one that was interesting. I'm like, and I went like, these guys would be CMLL guys, and I would love to see CMLL guys versus Sabre. I think that's going to be the interesting mix there.
CMLL guys have a lot of technical prowess in their stuff as well, so they're going to do very well with him. I'm actually more interested to see how Teets responds.
Never know. We will see. Then we got a rematch, I guess, from the match that never happened. Fred Rosser, Juice Robinson. I think these two could have a tremendous match. Again, Juice just had a tremendous match on TV with Ricky Starks. So,
yeah. If they get to it, yeah. And that being said, I mean, Rosser, say Tony Storm so many times. I want to see what happens. Just say her name. You don't even have to say anything about her. Just say her name and see what it does.
Yeah, and then we're getting a rematch for the Strong Openweight Championship. Hikuleo defending the title against Kenta. Going to be 2 weeks later. We're getting the title. We're going to be running it back. So, That's why I said we'll see what happens because
What happened here, though?
I'm looking forward to it.
What do you think's going to happen with it, though?
I could see Hikuleo retaining. I don't see him dropping on his first defense back to Kenta. But you never know. You never. Maybe they just did it so that Kenta could win it back in the States. I don't know.
I don't know either, because it's like, on one hand, if he retains, I mean, it really solidifies Hikuleo as the strong brand kind of guy. But like, do we think that Hikuleo can contend with somebody like Filthy Tom Lawler? My answer to that is no. That being said, dropping it right after winning it devalues the championship. So you don't want to devalue it, even if it goes to Kenta.
And it devalues Hikuleo going forward. It kind of devalues Kenta in a sense because it's like, well, why did you lose it in the first place? Like, there's
losing it kind of devalued Kenta a tiny bit there.
It's
this could go really either way, and it could be good or bad either way.
So there's lots of questions with that match. Then we got a 6-man tag: Kazuchika Okada, Tomohiro Ishii, and Rocky Romero, a full Chaos unit, taking on Jon Moxley, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota Umino. This is a Resurgence, not Dominion. This isn't the match they were hyping up already. That match will happen at Dominion, but with Shota Moxley against Okada and whoever. But yeah, this is gonna be an interesting little 6-man here, kind of a preview of what's going to happen at Dominion.
I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I look at this and I go, that just looks confusing. It just looks like two teams just kind of hashed together. Even though Chaos has been fighting for a while, Rocky's been pretty far removed from Okada and Ishii for a bit, unless they're on American soil.
But the other team isn't a hash together because Wheeler and Mox are part of the same faction in AEW. But Shota is.
He hasn't worked with Wheeler.
But Shota is Mox's boy. So, and Yurimura and Shota Umino had tagged together on New Japan Strong in the past when they were both when Umino had a couple matches in Strong. So they have worked together.
Matches.
Yeah, but they have worked together. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Semi-final match in the tournament to crown the number one contender. We got Tanahashi versus my boy Will Ospreay, baby. I'm looking forward to this. I'm really glad they're both going to be back for this because I was worried we weren't actually going to get the match at all. But I'm excited. I'm insanely excited for this.
I'm half excited because I've been waiting for the return of Will Ospreay, and it's unfortunate his injury. It's unfortunate that he's kind of recognizing that he's kind of got a limitation on his career right now. I wish Tanahashi would frickin' figure that out too and take the time that he needs to rest and recover his stuff so that he can wrestle a little bit longer, because goodness, it's going to break his heart the day he has to retire. But the way he's going to be one of those guys who pretty much dies in the ring, which I don't want to see.
Oh, nobody wants to see that.
No, that being said, I love seeing Tanahashi wrestle. But like, I really feel Ospreay is just going to run circles around him without effort. If Tana's able to get anything in on him, I'll honestly be surprised. I don't see Tana moving on from this. And if he does...
Uh-oh. Because that's Lance Archer. That match's going to be much worse.
Yeah, like Ospreay has... I don't want to say that Ospreay needs to be the assassin in this, but like...
He needs to take him out.
Yeah, like...
And then we got the finals. It's either Mercedes Moné or Stephanie Vecker taking on Momo Kogo or Willow Nightingale. I have a feeling it's going to be Moné versus Kogo.
Really?
It's just a feeling, or it's Moné versus Willow. It's one of the. It's Moné versus somebody.
I think it's going to be Moné versus Willow. I think Momo's going to put up a tremendous fight, and that they're going to have an incredible, entertaining match. But I definitely see it being a Stardom versus AEW. The Japanese
could be. I'm down for it. And then
either way, it'll be an incredible match.
There's a couple more things. Dominion matches have been announced. We're getting a rematch of Sabre versus Cobb for the title.
That's not long after my birthday.
There you go. And then we're getting ELP versus David Finlay for the title.
Yes.
We're getting the three-way tag match.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it because it's the Open, but and because it's House of Torture.
It'll be a phenomenal match.
Oh yeah, just Bishamon and AO alone are gonna kill it in that ring. So
My biggest problem is going to be who's going to be at ringside. For this to be an incredible match, we can't see Sho, we can't see Togo, we can't see Yo, we can't see United
well,
Empire.
if
For
Sho and
this to be
Togo
a
are
good match,
there, and if Sho
these
and Togo are there, if Sho and Togo are there, we need to have Akira and TJP there to negate them.
well, obviously, yeah, but like for me to have a good overall match, I just need these 6 men in the ring. That's all we need.
No, I don't need outside shenanigans. I really don't.
No.
And then the main event of that show,
Oh,
Sonata Yoda-Tsuji. Here we go. His first.
my goodness, Suji looks like a freaking model.
Yep.
Gosh
if you pull the Sonata and
there, red versus blue.
If you pulled a Sonata and shaved the beard off and shaved the hair, it's just like bang. They'd be like he could transform like Sonata if he shaved it all off. You could pull a Sonata transformation.
Yeah, but I like them kind of being like the opposites. Sonata, short hair, clean shave, him having the long hair and the beard.
I very much do. I like that it's like polar opposites, red versus blue.
And like I said, fire and ice. One's in blue, one's in red.
Yeah. But that is it. That is everything coming up over the next while that we are going to be covering here on NJPW Puroresu Review. And please don't forget to check out our Stardom review. We have a lot of great content coming out there too.
Lots of fun stuff to talk about. Like prominence. Oh my god. I did not know Suzuki.
Or the lack of prominence, maybe.
God.
Yeah. But we are going to get out of here. I got to thank first and foremost our boy, Mike the Ref. Thank you so much, my friend, for all the support you've given us, for simulcasting us on your channel. If you're watching us on Andre Melball Wrestling Talk, please head over to youtube.com/@backbreakervideo to check out all of our content that is shown over there, and all the great content from there, from Astrid and Cody, stuff that they have there, all the great content over there. And then please check out twitch.tv/Mike the Ref for all his live stuff. And then youtube.com/@backbreaker_gaming for a lot of great gaming content from Mike, from PJC, from Rick Jules. A lot of great content. I'm debating if I want to start streaming gaming, and if I do, it's going to end up there. So
sounds good, my friend. And that being said, where can the people follow you on social media if they want to follow the Canadian guy?
They can follow me on Twitter, Mastodon, and Hive @ThatCanadaGuy. And on Instagram @ThatCanadaDude. You can find me on Facebook @Andre Melball Wrestling Talk. You can also find me on from this past Sunday, at least it'll be rebroadcasted on the OLE YouTube page. Myself, OLED, and our special guest Cody Defoe will be talking Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We're recording this on Sunday before I go and do that, but that'll have been broadcast this past Sunday. It will be up on the YouTube page for all of you to check out. It's our review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We will be talking spoilers, so don't come in expecting not to be spoiled. We spoil things on this show. We say it outright at the start, but we will be spoiling things. So don't watch if you don't want to know.
And of course, all of the links for our local establishment will be in the description box below there. Easy to find, so you can find Andre on there fairly easily. You can also find Melball on there with her show Paramindful. And that's all I have on there. That being said, you can follow Melball on Twitter @CollinsMelball. You can follow her on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Mastodon @Melball Collins. And again, you can also find me on the Andre and Melball's Wrestling Talk Facebook page. Can also find me on Astrid Pizarro's YouTube. We do our Ladies Wrestling Showcase every 2 weeks with the beautiful Natural. This week we talked about Trinity's debut on Impact Wrestling and Mercedes Moné, the effect that her loss of the IWGP Women's Championship might have on NJPW and Stardom, and what her entrance into the NJPW Strong Women's Tournament could have on the impact on the American viewers. So that's a fun episode you want to take in. That being said, my friend, do we have anything? Oh, wait, one more thing. If you want to watch NJPW, You can find the link in the description box below. Is approximately 990 yen or perfect 10 in Canadian. But right now it's like more like 7. But we love Sean Spears. So we're doing 10. Yeah, perfect 7. Lucky 7. We'll go with that. Again, the link is going to be in the description box below. It is NJPW-World.com. And that being said, my friend, do you have anything left to say to the beautiful people?
I just want to say thank you so very much for tuning in. Please like the video, subscribe down below, and comment down below because we want to hear from all of you. We love talking professional wrestling with you all.
That is a fact. And that being said, I am your Melball. Over there is Andre. We will catch you next time. Adios.